Hello there, welcome to my Lookery Studio crash course. Today, I'll be showing you how to use some of the basic features of Lookery Studio as well as some other more advanced and unfamiliar options that are rarely taught or talked about. As a digital marketer, I use Google Looker Studio to create all sorts of dynamic reports. Looker Studio really shines when it comes to creating custom reports using multiple data streams. For example, you can have Search Console, Google Analytics GA4, Google Ads, and a spreadsheet, all of them in a single report. Now that you know how important Looker Studio can be, without further ado, let's dive right in.
As you can see now, I've already searched for Looker Studio on Google and then click on the first results that comes up. It is actually a no-brainer. You already know how to do that, right? And then you click on blank report to create a new report. As you can see here, we've got some other templates that can be utilized. And this one has been especially designed for GA4 reports. And here, as you can see, we've got some other reports, Looker Studio reports that can be used by you, or it can be viewed by you, or created by you, or some other people. Now, it doesn't really matter what we've got here because it's not that important. The only thing that is really important here is this blank report button in order to create a new Looker Studio report. I just simply click on this one. I wait for the page to be fully loaded. Once it is fully loaded, here as you can see, we've got all sorts of data streams. We've got Looker Studio itself, so you could basically connect Looker Studio to some other Looker Studio reports. You could connect it to Google Analytics, Google Ads, Google Sheets, BigQuery, and some other sorts of data streams. Even we do have MySQL and Postgres, YouTube Analytics, as well as Search Console. For the time being, I'm going to stick to Google Analytics, and if I'm not mistaken, most of you do use Google Analytics most of the time. I mean, digital marketers, they really want to see their numbers and statistics on Google Analytics and have their own custom reports based on Google Analytics. And there is one more thing, there is a catch here. In order to follow this tutorial, you're expected to have a Google Analytics account and property up and running. So I assume that you do have one. I also happen to have another video on my YouTube channel which shows you how to set up your own Google Analytics account and property. Here, I'm going to click on my own property, the one that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of this video, and then click Add. And then click Add to Report. Once it is taken care of, we see that there is a table auto-generated by Looker Studio itself. We could add dimensions here on the right hand side. We could add some other metrics. Remember that we could have multiple dimensions and multiple metrics at the same time. And the data source that we've already chosen and picked for this report. So let me just choose another dimension. Session source and medium. And as for the metric, I'm going to choose sessions. And then get rid of this views metric. In order to delete one, as I've already shown you, you just have to click on this button. Now, you might be wondering how you can see the adjustments and settings for each chart and for each table. You just have to click on it in order to have access to all the adjustments on the right hand side. You could also style it however you want. What I'm about to tell you is of immense importance You might be wondering what a dimension is and what a metric is and what the difference is. Let me give you an example to elaborate it a little bit. Here, let me just make this one a little bit bigger and a bit wider. Now, I'm going to add more metrics, session, engage sessions, active users, new users. So here, as you can see, every time I add a new metric, a new column is added. As you can see here, we've got like uh, four columns, four columns, and we've got a single dimension, right? We've got a single dimension. So the dimension is session source medium. Session source medium refers to each and every one of these rows, all right? And the metrics are considered to be the columns. Here we've got four metrics, thus we've got four columns. We've got a single session, so we've got a single dimension here, a single like dimension on the right hand side. We've got a single dimension on the left hand side here, and each and every one of them is considered to be the dimension. For example, the dimension here is Google Organic, and the metrics for it, as for the sessions, the number of sessions, is actually 127, 83 for engaged sessions, 73 for active users, and 66 new users. Now, you might be wondering what the time span is. You could easily make certain adjustments to the time range, to the date range, and specify the date range however you want. Let me show you. It's right here. The date range has been selected last 28 days. So what we're dealing with right now refers to the data that we've got over the course of the last 28 days, excluding today. You could easily choose your own date range. Let me choose mine and then click this one. May, from the first day all the way to the end. So here, as you can see, we've got the statistics and the numbers associated with May, and it really changed the numbers here. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing. You could also change the name of each column or each row. Now, let me show you how to do that. As for sessions, you could simply just say session instead of sessions. Or if you're creating your own report in your own country, as you know, there are like multiple languages. For example, I want to create my own report, my own custom report in Arabic or in Spanish or in some other languages. So you could simply do that here. And I'm going to just change this one to source and medium instead of session source and medium. It doesn't really matter. You can just do whatever you want, change the name to whatever you want. But do be sure to make it meaningful so that next time you're not going to be confused what it actually is. Now, I'm going to change the dimension to something else, something like session campaign. As I've already told you, we could have multiple dimensions. Here we've got session medium as for the first dimension, and session campaign as for the second one. Now I'm gonna just get rid of this one. There are certain functionalities and features up here. I'm going to just click on this one, theme and layout, in order to change the layout to something a little bit more stylish, like this one. As you can see, the whole thing changed on the left hand side. I'm going to close this and then click on my own table. You could also style your own table like this. You could change the uh, general settings. You could make it vertical, either vertical or horizontal, however you like. But I myself, I prefer it to be this way, to be vertical. Now, let's just change the alignments for each one. You could simply change the alignment for the dimensions, make it like center align, make it left align, right align. I'm gonna leave it be, but I want to just make each one of these center align because it looks much better. I also want to make them bigger, a little bit readable. Now I can't actually see anything. So I'm going to change the font size from 14 pixels to something like 20 pixels. And for this one, 18 pixels for the cells. Now it looks much better, more readable, and also more stylish. As you can see here, we could just simply um, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down to see the full page. Um, Now, I just want to create some cards. Let's create some cards. Click on Add a Chart. We've already created a table. Now let's move on to scorecards. I'm not going to make it that big. That's the optimal size. Control C, Control V to copy and paste it. Control C, Control V again to copy and paste it one more time. I'm going to put it right here. Now uh, click Control and select all of them. This way you could change the date range for all of them at the same time. Now click Custom in order to specify the date range. Again, May, all the way to the end. Then click Apply. Bingo. But I just want to make each one different. I just have to change the metric for each one. This one is going to be engaged sessions. These cards do really come in handy when you want to show the overall numbers or the stats of your website. Change this one to active users. And this one to new users. Now let's just move on to another sort of chart. I'm gonna choose like a time series chart. As for the dimension, we've got a date range or time for such chart. Here, as you can see, the dimension is already date. I actually didn't do anything to it, but it is already date, so I'm not going to change anything. And for the metric, Here we've got sessions. You could choose some other ones like engage sessions, like users, active users, and new users. As you can see, there is also a legend section on the top. For example, here as you can see, this time series chart demonstrates these four metrics over the course of, if I'm not mistaken, the last 28 days. Now I'm going to change that again to May, from the first day all the way to the end. Again, click apply to apply the changes. Bingo, here we've got ourselves a fancy looking report, which is, by the way, dynamic. And now let's actually make it a bit more advanced and give certain functionalities to it, like adding controls. I'm going to add a button and put it right here. As for the text, I'll say something like export. Alright, that's all. It looks good enough. No, 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 no. Sometimes it gets a bit clanky, like right now. Now, I want to add a certain functionality to this one. Um, I want to let my viewers to be able to download this one, to be able to download this uh, Looker Studio report. So here we just simply click on this button that we've just created. And then once we do that, we click on this one. Here we've got button action type. You just have to choose one of them. I'm going to check report actions and then choose download report. This allows the user, the viewer, to download this report as a PDF file. Now let's just take a look. Before doing anything, I'm going to change the name to my, but I cannot really do that. I just have to click on edit and then my website analytics and then click view. This is the perspective that your viewers are going to have when they take a look at your Looker Studio report. Now, I'll just refresh the page. And now click on export. And then click on download. Let's see what happens. As you can see, the PDF has been downloaded. I've got access to the PDF itself. So you cannot really do something like this in other types of reports. Looker Studio is actually pretty amazing, in my opinion. There are also some other amazing things that you can do. I'll be showing you all these different features in a second. For example, here you could actually have some drop downs. Let me show you what I mean. But before doing anything, let me just get rid of these cards. Now, click on Add a Control and look for Date Range Control. Click and drag. That's all. Again, add another control, something like Dimension Control, and then click, hold, and drag. Not bad, not bad at all. Here you could change the date range. Let me show you. Let me just get rid of this for the time being. So let me click view. Let's see what happens. It was May. Now I'm gonna make it like July. And then click apply. Let's see what happens. The whole thing changed, right? So the numbers changed, the date also changed. So you could also do something like that. Now, let's go on ahead, move on to something else, which is, in my opinion, a little bit more advanced and also pretty handy. It looks good enough, but I just wanted to make it the exact same size as this one. Yeah, alright. It seems to be good enough. Alright, now I'll just get rid of this because this time series chart doesn't really work well with this um, control drop down. I just want to show you how it works. Here, let me click on this one. Let's see what happens. Session source, session campaign. These are the items of the drop down list. Session source and medium. We could also say we could also say something like session platform. Session source platform, and get rid of this. Now let's see what happens. I'm gonna click on view. Dimension, we would simply change the dimension. Session campaign, session source, and medium. I actually, yeah, managed to add session source platform as well. Here we've got the platforms, session source, and that's all. Alright, I'm gonna just delete this one, this one as well, because we don't really need them right now. Let's just stick to our own table. I'm gonna show you one more feature that is actually pretty handy. So here, you might be wondering how you can change the names of your rows, the names of your dimensions. I've already shown you how you can just simply change the name of each column. Now I will show you how to change the names of these ones, because it's going to be pretty darn useful if you want to create a report, a custom report in your own language, right? So in order to do that, you just have to add a field, a custom field. And the fields that you create has got to be based on an existing field. For example, in my case, I'm going to create a calculated field that is based on my session campaign. And the session campaign, as you know, belongs to the data source, Google Analytics GA4, the one that we chose right at the beginning of this tutorial. Now, I'm going to choose a name for it, something like custom session campaign my custom session campaign, pull it up a little bit, and now it's high time we formulated our own field. And as I've already told you, the field that I really want to create right now is based on an existing GA4 metric. Case, shift, enter, and then type when session campaign is equal to organic, then change it to SEO. Else session campaign, and then end. Then click save and done. Congratulations, now you've successfully created your own field that is based on an existing GA4 metric. Now, here, as you can see, we've got no change whatsoever. So the code that I wrote, the formula that I wrote for this metric was that I didn't want the word organic to be shown. Instead, I wanted this one to be shown like this. Let me show you. So I just simply add the dimension, my custom session campaign, and get rid of this one. As you can see, organic changed into SEO. Let me show you what happened. In order to see the formula once more, on the right hand side under the data tab, you just have to search for the name, my, and then click on this FX button. Once you do that, you'll be able to see the formula that you've created once more. In case session campaign equals organic between two parentheses, I don't want this to be shown. I want this to be removed, and I want this to be shown. Instead of organic between two parentheses, I want the word SEO to be shown. And for the rest of them, I don't really want to make any changes. So else session campaign and then end. And then I click done. That's all. Instead of organic between two parentheses, now I've got SEO. This is really useful when you want to create, again, your own custom reports in your own languages. I just use this feature all the time myself. I just formulate my own custom fields based on GA4 fields. So that's something that I really wanted to show you. There is one more thing that is of immense importance right now. Filtration. Now I want to show you how you can create your own filters. For example, right at the beginning of this tutorial, I've already told you that you want to create a filter, and let's just say you want to create a custom report, and you want that person to see only the campaigns that they've got for you. For example, let's just say you want to create a custom report for an ad agency, and they've got their own UTMs, and you don't really want them to see your to see your GA4 account, to see all the other properties that you've got, all the other numbers, all the other statistics. For example, you don't really want to let them take a look at all the data that you've got in regards to your SEO, the traffic coming into your website from various channels, from other channels. So you just simply add a filter, and this way you let them only have access to the UTMs that they've got for you, that they only use in order to attract more users to your website. So this way, when you create a custom report like this and filter your UTMs and campaigns, they won't be able to take a look at other campaigns or other numbers that don't really belong to them, that are just totally irrelevant to them. So let's just create a filter In this case, I just want to show the referral right here, and I want to exclude the rest of them, the rest of my campaigns. So let's do that. Add a filter, include. Here you could choose either include or exclude, and then select my custom campaign, and then select condition. I myself normally use contains. You could use some other conditions. For example, you could use the regex ones, or is null, or contains, or equal to. But contains is much better. I myself use it all the time because it's not that sensitive. Referral. So it means only show me the session campaign that contains the word referral and exclude the rest of my campaigns. I don't really want to take a look at them. I don't really want to have them right here. Exclude the rest of them. The only thing that I want right now, the only thing that I really want to be included is referral. And then click save. Here, as you can see, it really did work. Now the only thing that we have access to is referral, and then share it. Share this report with whoever you like. Now let's just delete this one, delete this filter. I've got another trick up my sleeve. This one again is one of those tricks that I use myself when it comes to creating my own Looker Studio reports, and when I have to deal with multiple data streams at the same time. There is a feature on Looker Studio that allows you to blend data with one another with multiple data streams. Here you just have to click blend data, but before doing that I'm going to add that data here. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a spreadsheet, and then we'll combine the spreadsheet and our GA4, and we're going to see what happens. Alright, so I'll create a spreadsheet. Remember, the way you create it is actually pretty important, because if you don't create it the right way, the whole thing is not going to work. Alright, let's just assume that I want to specify a specific cost for each and every one of my campaigns. For example, for direct, I've got like a certain cost. These are my expenses. And for SEO, I've paid like $1,000, a grand. For referral, I've got like a specific number. And for not set, there is just simply nothing, because there is no way around, right? Let me show you here. I've got SEO as my dimension, and I've made the dimension campaign SEO and SEO here. So they gotta be the same thing. The names gotta be the same thing, alright? Referral between two parentheses, referral between two parentheses. The order is not that important, but the way you write it is actually pretty important. And we've got direct. I just have to change direct. I need to put it between two parentheses. Okay, now that we have each and every one of them in order, let's just add this one to my data stream. But before adding it to my data stream, I just want to change its name to something like expenses, expenses, and then click enter. Now it's high time I added this one to my data streams. I simply click add data, and then click Google Sheets. Here, as you can see, this is the spreadsheet that I've been working on. So I just simply click on it and then click add. Make sure these two are checked, alright? Now I'm waiting for the page to be fully loaded. There's going to be a prompt here. and then simply click Add to Report. Alright, now you can go ahead and blend data. I'm going to click Blend Data. I just want to pull it up a little bit just to see it much better. Now, I just want to join another table. Expenses, Sheet 1. As you can see here, we've got the dimension campaign. It's right here, campaign. And we've got my custom session campaign, the one that we created together as for the dimension for my Google Analytics. And here we've got two tables, one of them on the left hand side and the other on the right hand side. My spreadsheet is on the right hand side and my Google Analytics property is on the left hand side, along with all its metrics and dimensions. And this spreadsheet also has got its own dimensions and metrics. Here I've got like something like cost, so I simply choose this one as for my metric. If you do have some other columns, you could simply go ahead and add those to your own metrics. And now that's that. But before moving on, as you can see, we cannot really save it. We just have to configure a joint. I'm going to go for a left outer joint. When you perform and configure a left outer joint, it means that you keep all the data, all the dimensions that you've got on the left hand side of your table, which is here in this case GA4 property. And if there is a value for one of the dimensions on the left hand side, but there is no value for it on the right hand side, there is going to be null for it. Okay, here as you can see, there is no value for not set, and not set is non-existent here. There is no cost for it. So here I'm going to just go ahead and configure a left outer joint. Let's see what happens, but before doing that, we just have to connect our dimensions to one another. I click my custom session campaign, the one that we created together, and then campaign for this one. Campaign is this dimension right here. Cost here is my metric. And then connect them to one another and then click Save. Make sure this one is checked, hide repeated join fields, and then click Save. Now, instead of Google Analytics as your data source, you've got Blended Data 1. You could rename it whenever you want by clicking this icon. You could simply go ahead and click this, but I don't really want to change the name right now. There is no point in doing that. There is going to be another metric called cost here. Oops, sorry. Called cost here. I click on it. And boom, as you can see here, we've got like erect, it was 1500, SEO 1000, and referral 2000, And for not set, since we configured a left outer joint, there is no value for not set in this one. There is no value for it whatsoever, and it is non-existent here. That's why we do have a dimension here, but there is nothing here, so it returns null. This is what happens when you configure a left outer joint. There are some other things that you could do here on Looker Studio. For example, you could just simply go on ahead and create your own shapes, create your own text. I'll show you in a second. Here you could just have a rectangle like this. You could adjust the border radius, which is something that I'm about to do right now. make it a bit smaller, and you could also have your text on top of it. I'll simply call it analytics. No, analytics. Make it a bit bigger. Change the font color to white and also make it bold. Google Analytics. And adjust the position in accordance with the shape underneath it. And now that's that. Here, as you can see, we've got our own report. And you could go on ahead and share it with whoever you like by typing their Gmail address right here. And you could also, once you do that, you could also change the privileges. There are also um, two configurations that we've got here for each user that you add. Your users could be either editors or viewers. So that's all. I've got nothing more to share in regards to Google Data Studio, or it is now called Looker Studio, as the domain suggests. And that's all for this tutorial. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me. Um, Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm just pretty new to the whole YouTube thing, so please feel free to support my content. If you like more content like this, please do be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think about my style, about my videos. I'll be happy to be of assistance to you down in the comment section. That's all. See you in the next one.